Hello, and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. Oh, I'm finally home from Turkey. I'm joined by my good friend Anil, of course. Anil, how are you doing today, mate?
Now that you're back, Locks, I'm great because I had to do 6 hours worth of Leicester City Football Club content in a row, plus the post-match analysis on Saturday, and I'm not going to lie, on Sunday. Woo! So you literally couldn't have come back sooner, but you're looking well. Can I ask you, hair transplant or did you get the teeth done?
No, neither, mate, neither. But I did get some vouchers for Steve Cooper, so there we go. Right. So let's get into today's show. It's something brand new on the channel. It's something that I had an idea of doing while I was on the plane actually back from Turkey. And it is a call-in show. And it is pretty much as it says on the tin. We all know what a call-in show. This basically gives... I get fans on anyway, but this just gives more fans an opportunity to just jump on and have a say. Have a say on what they think to certain players this season, or the manager, or just in general, Leicester, the transfers, whatever you want. So the rules are this: when you are brought in, I just want you to let us know, me and Anil know, what you want to talk about. That's all. Just give us a topic or a question or something that's grinding your gears, and we will discuss it. Now, I have put the link on Twitter. So if everybody goes to Blue Tinted Glasses on Twitter or Blue Tinted LCFC, I have put the link there, but this is it in the chat as well. So if you click this link, you'll be able to join the show and come and have your say. Now, we do have someone waiting already. So I think we should start with Tom.
Is it Steve Cooper?
Oh, imagine if it is Steve Cooper. He could be related to Steve Cooper. You never know. I hope not, because he does follow me on Twitter. So yeah, I'd be being a bit nasty. Right. Let's get in our first guest, and it is 1 second. Let me just put this on the screen. There we go. Hello. It is Tom. How are you doing, Tom?
Hello. I just for reference, I am not related to Steve Cooper, so just to get that out of the way. Thankfully.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I know that you. I mean, I've spoken to you before on Twitter. I think just something came up last time, so you never came on. So I'm glad that you're finally here. Thought it's a good opportunity to get you on. What do you want to talk about today? And we'll get into it, mate.
Yes, so I would love to talk about now transfers, because I know everyone's going to be talking about Cooper. So I kind of wanted to be a little bit different. I would personally say that on the whole, the transfers have been quite reasonable. There are some players that have failed to rise up to expectations, but on the whole, I believe that generally it's been quite well, and I'm very surprised by some. Like, for example, Caleb Coley. I think he's been, bearing in mind it's been 7 games, so obviously, throughout the season it may change. He's been probably one of our standout players, and that includes Hermansen, Ndidi. You can technically call him a transfer, but he's not really. But yeah, I really like him, and I just want to disprove a certain things. Everyone knows in pre-season you're not going to play 100%, because it's all about fitness, and it's all about getting certain tactics and formations implanted and embedded into the squad. But I've been really impressed with him, and I'm going to shut up now because I want you to.
Well, I'll start with this one, Anil, mate. I agree with Tom, to be honest with you, because I think during the transfer window there was a lot of negativity, and I think it's because of some of the names we were linked with, like Matthias Sula, Wilfred Zaha, even Fotis and Ioannidis from the Greek league. And then we ended up with some signings that were a bit underwhelming, like Jordan Ayew. And I know Decordova-Reid was early on. And I think even the Okoli signing, initially it seemed a bit exciting, but in pre-season he was terrible. So there was a bit of negativity around that one. But looking back on it now, in the opening 7 games, no matter what we think about the manager or the how games have gone, I think we can look at quite a few of them signings and say, you know what, they've actually been really good. Caleb Okoli in the last few games, especially, has exceeded my expectations. Jordan Ayew, although some people aren't a fan of the type of player that he is, I think he's actually done a good job at times. Deck Cordova-Reid, not so much, which is a shame. But Facundo Buonanotte, again, I know it's a loan signing, but he is just magic. And I'll just mention one more. Bilal El Khanous, obviously, he's played very, very few minutes, had a disappointing debut start against Everton, but I'm sure there's a player in there, and he is one for the long term because that is one that we do own permanently. So yeah, Neil, mate, what do you make to the transfers that we brought in this summer and how they've done so far?
Firstly, can we give Tom a round of applause? Don't know if you realise this, but you are going to be the Albrighton of blue tinted glasses. You were the first ever guest on the call-in show. Get that, whatever your surname is, whack that on the back of your blue tinted jersey when that merch is inevitably released in Lox's store. So thank you so much for being brave enough to join in. But you know what? I really agree with you. The transfers have been good. I don't think anyone's really put a foot wrong. Yeah, I think Ayew's been pretty solid. I think people initially doubted him. And, you know, fair play, because I remember during the window, the actual message from the club was that please can fans judge us at the end of the window, not at the start of the window, because we'll get things. And Lox, you and I, we did a deadline day special. We even got a striker in the end. Is that striker any good? That's something different to sort of mention, but we did get one. Yeah, I think the Cordova-Reid maybe is a bit underwhelming, but you get what you pay for, and we didn't pay anything. So not at the end of the day. So to be honest with you, I think we filled in all the squad positions. We got quite a competitive squad there. All the positions were filled out. Some of them have been good. And yes, Buonanotte, it looks absolute mustard. Sure, he might not be our player, but we just need to stay up. As you say, Okoli's super impressive. So I hate to see it, but Rudkin in? Don't know. That's not on message. But yeah, great subject to bring up. And I think the transfers have so far, you've got to say, been quite good.
Yeah, Tom, I don't know. Your camera seems to have frozen, mate, by the way, just to let you know. It seems like maybe just a problem with the connection. But one thing I just wanted to ask you, just whilst you're on here before we let you go, is what do you actually give the transfer window, like out of 10? If you had to give it a rating out of 10, what would you give it?
7 out of 10. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you okay. It's the camera. It's just the camera. We can hear you.
Oh, no, that's okay then. No, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I am quite disappointed in Deck Cordova-Reid because I can understand why he was brought in as a utility player. But I would love to see the likes of McAteer given a run because I believe that he's more physical and has more of a more tenacity about him. And he's ours, and we can develop him. And I hope he is a long-term project. With Bilal El Khanous, I think you can't. I don't know because Buonanotte has been red hot, and you can't drop him. I don't think you'd be a madman to do that. So he will be given chances, possibly as like a 60-minute player, just to bed him in. I think he'll be more introduced in the second season, if that makes sense, because he's our player and Buonanotte isn't.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Tom, thanks so much for clicking in, mate. Try and get your camera sorted for the next one. It's okay. We can hear you fine. But try and get a better.
To be fair, Lox, I think some people, they're not going to want to come on with their camera. So I think we should allow that option, right? That's
true.
Yes.
Yeah, that is fair enough. That is, yeah. But no, next time, Tom, if your camera is playing up, mate, don't worry about it. Just leave your camera off. But thanks for clicking in. Very much appreciated. I'll message you next time that we're doing the call in, and we'll get you in, and we'll have a talk about another topic. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Cheers,
Tom. Our next guest is Cameralus, and it is Zach, who I do. If it is the Zach I think it is, then I know Zach. Well, I know of Zach. Is it you, Zach?
Yeah,
is it who I think
it is. It is me.
Okay. Yeah, okay, lovely stuff. Me and Zach sometimes go on the playback streams for Foss Hub, and sometimes we disagree on things. Sometimes we team up against Manny, who hopefully will join us soon. Zach, mate, what is the topic you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about the wings topic because something is going off with the topic recently because people are writing off wings because he can't play in defensive system. He didn't work out with the Conte. He didn't work out Jose Mourinho, and he didn't gonna work out with Cooper as well because he isn't suitable as player, suitable the system in defensive. That's what my take is. But people gonna write him off. When I say he's not capable in playing Premier League, he's not standard of Premier League player. But I disagree on that topic.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask Neil to start off on this one because he is the tactical analysis god. So, talk to me and Zach and Neil about what you think to the whole Winks drop in.
Well, I really agree with Zach. It has been proven that Harry Winks plays best in a possession-based system. That's how Enzo got the most out of him, last season. And in fact, Spurs fans even had, they used to jokingly call him like Winksiesta because he had a really good game in the Champions League against Real Madrid. So that's definitely how you get the best out of him. And he definitely looks like he's been to a funeral when you look at him on the pitch. Now, I've got to say, Locks, you're a man from the future because I think even 2 games into the season, you had a video or a poll saying, should Winks be dropped? And I know the rest of us who speak to Locks, we were like, are you mental? How can you drop Harry Winks, the heartbeat of the team? And yet he's done it, Steve Cooper. And what happened? We actually won a game. So there's something to be said there. So the issue is that I think there's sort of good and bad here, right? So I actually think it's fair to say that Harry Winks isn't that well suited in a team that isn't really going to be bossing the ball and trying to control the game, right? And that you probably are better off having Ndidi and Skip in a game like that. But then the counter argument is that shouldn't we be trying to get the best out of our players when we know that we've got certain players that are suited for a different style? And then you could even bring the question back further and say, shouldn't the director of football have appointed a manager so that we didn't have to change the style, given that we had a successful style last season and it feels like we've changed what we're going to do? So there's many different ways you can go into it. What I would say, though, is in that first half against Bournemouth, I think we genuinely were good. I think the less said about the second half, the better. And that was on the manager when we weren't very defensive. But I would be shocked if we don't start against Southampton with exactly that same lineup. And that is going to mean Winks out of the team. I think the best version of Leicester has Winks in it. That's not what our manager thinks. So I wonder what he's feeling as a player. Great topic.
What do you think to that, Zach? What do you think to what Anil said, mate?
Anil's breakdown what actually is it because in the Cooper system he want to play defensively and he want to go and means he want to park the bus and consume as much pressure he can and then after 20-30 minutes he gonna attack and trying to score a goals. That was the Cooper system right now. And what is going on in the system, we don't have much ball and most of the time player has to face transitions and as a Winks he isn't fast player and all we know that he can't handle the transition phase as much as often. That's why Enzo put Ricardo beside him so he can cover that area for Winks. That's why we didn't and you notice the last season the most of the goal we concede was from transition. We weren't concede from many set pieces or nor any outside boxes. Most of the goal we concede was from transitions, and that was the issue with the midfield. We weren't good in the handling transitions, and right now after addition of the Skip, we somehow managed reduce the transition problem with the Ndidi and Skip. But still, if you trying to use Winks as a sole pivot, is not going to work out. And I understand that why Winks going to drop, but as in this system, you can't slender Winks because he's unsuitable to playing the system. If you want to put De Jong, like De Jong or Kimmich, he's not going to work out with the Cooper system, to be honest.
I hear you. I mean, like Anil mentioned, I think I said back at the start of probably like 3 games in, I said about dropping Winks, and I got absolutely slated for it. But And I understand why to a certain extent. He was pivotal last season. He was really, really important, of course. And even this season, statistically, and I mean, I know you brought up this stat originally about how he had the most line cutting passes or something.
That's
like that.
not true anymore, but it was after 3 games because obviously he hasn't played so much. But it was true after the first 3 games. Yeah,
I saw Okoli had the most on this weekend, actually, in this weekend fixtures. But I just feel like the midfield balanced, right, Zach? I don't know if you agree. The midfield feels more balanced with Ndidi, Skip, and Facundo Buonanotte. But I agree. Maybe in the games, Southampton is one to look at. Is Winks better suited for that game where we might, although maybe not, because we might not have much of the ball against Saints. We might just let them have it and try and hit them on the trend. What do you think Southampton's at? What do you think should happen for that one?
To be honest, we try to have as much ball as we can, but in the Cooper system, that's not going to happen. He always like to stay deep, consume as many pressure as he can, and then go in transitions. That's what is Cooper. And you have seen in his forward side as well. He always like to be playing defensive every time, because he has Morgan Gibbs White and what's a Nigerian striker. I forgot his name.
Awoni.
yeah.
Because of these 2 players, he was successful in the system. If he didn't have any one of that, the Nottingham Forest team wasn't working well. To be honest, if you seen that, because their striker was injured and they stop winning the games, and when he come back, they start winning the games. Because one or 2 players will be work out really well in Cooper, and that's why Cooper somehow managed to keep himself in a managerial position for Nottingham Forest. If any one of them has a injured longer period, he wouldn't survive that. And that's a fact.
I hear you, mate. Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. Zach, thanks for jumping on, mate. I'm going to let you go now because somebody else is waiting now. So thanks for bringing that up. That was one I was actually looking forward to talking about. Because that was big news. So, as always, Zach, I'll send you the link next time we're doing this, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. See you in the first
mate.
channel. Yeah. See you.
Yeah.
Cheers, Zach.
Awesome, mate. Thank you. Next up on the list is LCFC_fan15, who's always in the chat. So let's get him on. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Well, I'm pretty sure you guys wanted to hear from me, so I thought I'd hop on. But how you guys doing?
Oh, mate, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm sure. I think Anil is as well. Enjoying the stream. Thanks, by the way, because you're in the chat every single stream, mate. So I appreciate you showing the support as always, and it's good to get you onto this stream to actually hear your voice and hear what you think, because mostly you're just listening to us. So what do you want to talk about today, mate?
Well, we've already had about, was it Winks, and that first one I can't remember, but I think it'd be interesting to talk about Christiansen, because obviously the transfer window is creeping up soon enough, 2-3 months probably. I think we probably will go for a left back in the window. That's just me though, but you never know. Who do you think we could replace if Christiansen isn't the man for left back? Because he's been putting up some stinkers lately. That's just me, but
you know what? I don't know. I mean, because my problem is that if you do look at areas around the squad that we could improve, you look at the right back. Well, there's a good one on the bench, who's ready to come in, who could improve the team at a moment's notice. You look at the centre back pair, and I've been very impressed with Fass and Okoli. They've done better than I would have thought. I know we've conceded still a lot of goals so far this season, but still I think they've been solid, and I think we have looked better since Okoli's come into the team and replaced Vestergaard. And to be fair, Anil, actually, with the whole Vestergaard thing, we haven't missed the playing out from the back that much with Vestergaard coming out, because Okoli's come in and done a good job at that too. Just before I come to you completely on that, Anil, and then further up the pitch, we've got obviously Skip, who's a new signing, Bilal El Khanous, obviously Buonanotte. They're all new players in the midfield. Forwards, we've got Odsonne Edouard. Of course, I want a better striker. I do want a better striker, but Anil, I'll come to you now and admit, I don't think we will get another I don't think we will sign a striker in January because we have hate him, love him or hate him, Patson Daka coming back very soon as well.
Well, sure, but I mean, to be fair, LCFC fans asked about the fullback position. By the way, tell us your real name if you don't mind it, but because that would be good to give you your actual name because I feel kind of bad, but you don't have to if you don't want to give pressure. But what I will say just quickly, yeah, go on. Sorry, what is your real name?
Yes, Akif, AAKIF. Akif.
What was it?
The other-
Akis?
Akif with the F.
Akif.
Akif. Yeah, all right. Well, nice to meet you, mate. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'll answer that one first, and then I'll get to the striker. So I have to say, I was surprised that we didn't sign a left back in the window. I thought that we might do that. Maybe someone on loan. I was thinking we might get like Reguilon from Spurs because he was being around. And my hot take is, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ben Chilwell rock up back at the King Power. But he's in the bomb squad at the moment, right? So that's possible. But the one that I think we should have got because he was available on a free transfer and he's been linked with Leicester before is Robin Gosens, who went to Fiorentina. Now, he used to play for Atalanta with Timothy Castagna as their really attacking wing backs. And look, I don't like Cooper's system, but I'll say one thing. If you had the sort of left back that was known for bombing forwards, for being amazing at crossing, at being a goal threat, and had the energy to get up and down, now a player like that in a system like this would actually make a huge difference. And all of a sudden, you know, it could be something where it would open your eyes and you'd be like, oh, actually, maybe this other style of system is actually better than the one that Enzo played. Because I think that's where most people's concerns are. Is that like when you look at the team this season, it just doesn't look as good as last season, even though the quality level is different. So I don't know. I've got a feeling if we do get to January and we're out of the relegation zone and there is a bit of cash to spare, I don't think it's impossible that we do bring one or two players in. Again, it could be maybe on loan or something like that. Look, we all know what we want to do. We'd rather have Justin at left back and Ricardo at right back. But if he's not going to do that, could be something. Because the other thing, the reason why I think he does this as well is because if you look from the goal kicks, sometimes what we do to get out of pressure is we hit it to the fullbacks to control the ball. So Justin is taller and more physical than Ricardo. So again, the thing with Robin Gosens is he's like 6'2". Now we're not going to get him, but that's maybe where you would get someone. So there's my hot take. That's what I think about it, but I'm not sure. Striker, no, I think Daka will be the man.
Oh, and just to add to that, before we come back to you, Akif, I think it came out that Matty Target was actually at Seagrave on deadline day and we couldn't get the deal done. So what do you think? Now that we've obviously told you what we think, what do you think to it all?
Obviously, the obvious choice for Cooper is to play Justin at left back and then Ricardo at right back. But we all know he's not going to do that. It's Cooper. So personally, I think he's going to bring in a left back probably. Like Anil said, probably someone more physical. You're looking at a fullback around 6 foot-ish. Someone who's probably better on the ball, better going forward with the ball. Overall, I think Christiansen gives you the effort. But he isn't. He just. I don't know what is with him. He's not good enough, to be honest. Not for the Premier level, anyway. He's doing all right at Serie A, but not here. I don't think he's the man for the job. Maybe you can bring him on 75th minute or whatever, but he shouldn't be starting games, in my own opinion. But yeah, that's me.
Well, just to stick on that subject really quickly, Anil, mate, I think Christensen is one that is not being helped by the system, by how the team's being set up. Because we spoke about it a lot on Saturday for the watch along, the whole Mavididi and him and Christensen situation. They're not complementing each other how they really should be, are they?
Yeah, you can check out my video. I did like an analysis and I actually specifically did a little section on Christensen. And so I think the issues is one, he's not that good at playing it out from the back. So the attacks break down before we even get started. So that's issue number one. And issue number two is when he gets up high, he's not really creating enough of a threat there. So that's why I'm saying if you did want to bring someone in, they're the two things that they got to be strong at. We mentioned the physicality there as well. Like I'm actually just looking at this here and I can see actually Matt Target, his age and his physicals and stuff like that. I can sort of see why Cooper might have been interested in somebody like that. Yeah, I don't think the system helps him unless we really try and make, he was actually quite good against Spurs. Against Spurs, I think he did put in 3 or 4 crosses in the whole game. So that's what we need to use him for. So we either trust him or not. But if you remember in that game, Mavididi didn't play. So that meant that there was more space for him to run in along. And I think Cooper realised that if you didn't have Mavididi in the team, then there was literally zero threat down the left-hand side. So that's why he's put Mavididi back into the team. And now it's a bit better, but it's still a bit lopsided. So, yeah, could get someone. I mean, I think, like I say, we don't need it, but it's manager's, prerogative, isn't it?
Let's ask you, because I know we touched on it briefly. Akif, what do you think, striker? Do you think we should look to sign a striker in January, or do you think we're okay in that area?
I personally don't think we should invest in one. I think that's something for the next window that comes for the next season onwards. Personally, I think Daka will have a comeback, but that's fingers crossed from me. I really like Daka. I hope he can do well. I mean, we're Leicester fans. We all hope he can do well. Edward, on the other hand, that's a whole different story, a whole different ball game. Not a fan of his at all. He's played.
Who's that? Sorry, mate.
Edward. What's the name?
Edward.
Yeah. He's had a couple games and he doesn't really look the part. I'm not sure if that's because he hasn't trained enough. But I don't know. He just doesn't. He doesn't fit in really. Is all I can say. He should have been through 1-on-1 if you remember in the game against Bournemouth, and he completely scuffed that chance. Just got the ball stuck under his feet and can't do much with it. But yeah, that's me. I think we could rely on Daka personally. Hopefully, he comes back stronger and better.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think this is probably. I don't know about you now. I think this is probably Daka's last chance because
100%.
I mean, apart from the game, was it in Moscow? He's not really showed too much. I feel like every season we said, right, it's Daka's time to try and kick on. Obviously, in the Championship, you look at it, and to be fair, his return to the team in whenever it was, like November, December, it was good. Like, he scored goals. I think it was even February. He looked good and he was scoring goals, but it all just seemed to crumble. It just seemed to crumble in front of us. And I remember there were montages going around on Twitter of his misses. Like, there were that many of them. And it's like, I think I said to somebody at the time.
Sorry.
I feel like the misses are terrible, aren't they?
Yeah. He started missing a couple open goals and then I feel like he just lost confidence in himself. Yeah.
Well, he scored in one of the games. I can't remember which game it was, but then he missed like two sitters
Leeds.
afterwards.
It was the Leeds one where he missed. That was unforgivable because if he'd have put it away, we would have won the game, right?
That was a really bad one, and it just got me. I just thought, like, yeah, he'll score one in a game, but then he'll go and miss like three sitters, and I'm like, you know what I mean? And if he is a confidence player, that time should have been the time where he kicked on and gained a bit of momentum, but he just seemed to fall apart again. Unfortunately, that was Vardy's return to the team once again, the Lord and Savior. All right, mate. Well, thanks so much, Akif, for coming on. Much appreciated. Keep the support up in the chat. We do appreciate it big time. And I'll let you know next time we are going live, and hopefully you can join again. Yeah.
Yeah, sure thing. See you guys.
See you, Akif.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right, we are just waiting for one more guest, and he's being slow because he actually has a family to look after. Chappie will be joining, so try get on in the next couple of minutes, Chappie, mate. If not, no worries, we'll wait till next time. And also, this is your last chance, people. If you want to join and come and have your say, there is the link. I've posted it one final time in the chat. It's also on Twitter as well, on my Twitter account. So you can click that and come and have a chat. Let's go through some of the comments, Anil, because still, I mean, we've had people call in, but people have texted in, I suppose. We'll call it that. Thoughts on this one, mate? This might be a chance to reinvent Winks. It doesn't feel like a deep line playmaker really makes sense in a pragmatic setup. Potentially, he gets used more as an 8 versus a 6 moving forward.
Yeah, I think that could definitely work. There were some games last season where he sort of did that a little bit when teams really parked the bus and he started to push up a bit more, a little bit how we used Ricardo like that sometimes. Although I think the feeling was that Ricardo was better at doing it than Winks. But the guy is a talented player. We saw that last season. So yeah, I've got to say, this is the thing I don't like about Cooper is I think not using certain players is fair enough. But I think when you freeze them out completely, like I think it's quite a big thing to, at the end, he didn't even bring him on. He brought on Samare, which feels bad. Like same with Ricardo. Like with Ricardo, he hasn't given him a single minute of Premier League action so far. Not even 5 minutes. I feel it's so disrespectful. So look, there must be a way to get something out of Harry Winks. I can't believe a player that's that good is all of a sudden not good enough. Not having it.
Yeah. Tyler, I see you, mate. I'm going to come to you in just a second. Last comment here, Anil. You boys are so lucky to have Cooper. Be grateful. That's a Forest fan, I believe. Yeah. Wow. Imagine telling somebody like you're so lucky to have chlamydia. Like that's how it feels to me. Like, you're so lucky. Feel privileged. That's another demonetization. 2 in a row, for God's sake. 2 in a row. Right, I'm coming to you, Tyler. Tyler is also another person who's quite often in the chat, so let's get Tyler on. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hello.
How's it going,
Tyler.
mate? You all right?
Yeah. Camera. There it is. Okay.
That's good.
That's really
That's
close.
good. That's good.
Right.
Thanks for clicking in. What topic or what do you want to talk about?
Honestly, I'm always thinking about so many different things. I wasn't expecting this, but like, it's funny. This is like the one time where I'm not busy. One time where I'm not actually busy during this time slot, because usually I'm in classes. But the one day I'm like, I have no clue what I want to talk about. So I guess I just wanted to ask one question. Because I have a view on this. I want to see what you guys are. Who is our most impressive outfield player so far?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know my answer, but go on, Anil, mate. You can go first.
I think
on
it's
this one.
pretty easy for me. It's a certain lad on loan from Brighton, Facundo Buonanotte. I was impressed even from the first game. Like he was getting about, getting stuck in, had moments of quality. He should have had a few more assists, but Vardy's let him down. And so it's not just the last game where he was really, really good, but I just think throughout, he's 19 years old. He's just been called back up to the Argentina squad as well. So yeah, he's mustard. He's definitely been the most impressive. If we want to go for second one, because maybe he's like a little bit too obvious, I would actually go Wilfred Ndidi, who I think has had to play 3 different positions, like a box crasher. The sort of middle of the two is kind of box crashing, kind of not. And then the defensive, the one receiving the ball from out of the goalkeeper in the last game against Bournemouth. And he's done well in all 3. I think he didn't have the best game against Villa, if I seem to remember correctly. But other than that, been impressed. But yeah, Buonanotte, I mean, it's going to break our hearts when he goes at the end of the season, but still love watching him play, which I think is the most important thing. Like, he's one of those, a bit like Fatawu last season, where it just gets you on the edge of your seat and you're happy to think, yeah, well, no, that's a Leicester player. Except he's not, he's a Brighton player.
Yeah, mate. No, go on. I'll hand to Tyler now. What are you saying, mate? Who are you going with?
So I actually just saw the comment in here from, I believe it was Afik, I think is his name. That was my answer, Foss. I mean, in terms of, more impressive, maybe you'd go Buonanotte, but in terms of actual best player for us so far this year, I think that other than Hermanson, the reason why I specified outfield is because I think miles away it's Hermanson, but I think it's Foss. I think that there's still some moments where he just decides that he wants to be a number 10 for some reason. But other than that, I think he's been our most consistent, and his last-ditch defensive contributions have been almost flawless. I mean, there's a reason why we've only given away. I mean, we haven't actually been in like any situation where he's done anything reckless that's like led to any sort of penalty. I mean, the only penalty we've given up this year was Connor Cody. There's a reason he's only played like 15 minutes. Because Foss, every time he's dived into a tackle, every time he's dived into a block, it's been perfect. It's worked. It seems like everything's been consistent with him. And, there's some times where he just wants, I want to be a winger now. So there we go. And then he'll do something fun. More so last year, but even this year, there's still some times, but his distribution's been great. I think that I'm still not necessarily that impressed with Akoli's distribution personally. I think he still seems a bit scared, but Foss has been fantastic, and he's still got decent pace. And I just think that even with us conceding as many as we have, we would concede so many more without him.
Yeah, mate, honestly, it's interesting. I noticed that you did say outfield player, so I'm assuming you just wanted me to, obviously exclude Hermanson from that. I agree with what Anil said.
10 miles.
Yeah. I agree with what Anil said about Facundo Buonanotte. He's the the source of magic, I think, now for us this season. Well, for the remainder of the season, probably going to be the one that comes out with the Player of the Season award come the end of the season, potentially. Wilfred Ndidi, I've seen someone mock. I don't know if it was Anil or Tyler who said Ndidi as an option. I disagree with you, Leicester lad. You know, if you go back to my streams at the start of the season, I was slating Ndidi because he was being played as a 10, and that's just not what I want to see. But he's done well. You can't deny it with the different positions that he's played. Obviously, it's a alien position for him where he was playing for so long. And I know he did it last season a little bit differently, but it's just been incredible. I'm going to just bring this up on screen because I know Anil has got something up for us. This looks a bit terrible. 1 second. Let's go for... it's coming.
All right,
there we go.
So I'll zoom in. Well, yeah, I mean, this is, you know me, I love my stats. So here's Wilfred Ndidi, Premier League this season. Look at this. In assists, top 1% because he's got 4 assists. Clearances, top 1%. Top 1% for blocks. Top 1% for tackles. Top 1% for touches in the attacking penalty area. He's even, look, successful take-ons, progressive pass received. So this is no joke about it. The stats show that Wilfred Ndidi is our most creative and most effective attacking player. That's what the stats say. I'm not making it up. That's not an opinion. That's what the stats say. So that's why I would go with it. You know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and look, for what it's worth, I do know that a lot of people say, yeah, but if we had someone else there, we could do even better. Maybe you could be right, but I mean, it'd be hard to do better than that in those specific areas. He's definitely having an impact. So that's why I would, say that I'm a fan of Ndidi.
Yeah. Before I let you go, Tyler, who's the worst player this season then?
Worst performing, I mean, other than Odsonne Edouard, who I think looks like a championship striker every time he steps on the pitch. And I don't even think that's harsh. I mean, Decordova-Reid has not done much. I still don't understand why when he comes on, he's on the left, because he played on the right like almost every time with Fulham last year. But even then, I would still prefer McAteer over him. I mean, I would still prefer McAteer over him. But I mean, he hasn't been that great. I know some people would probably say Ayew. I actually think Ayew has a very specific role, and he does it well, and sometimes might be overused, but I actually think that he's okay. Worst, no, I mean, I guess I would have to say Decordova-Reid. I'd have to say Decordova-Reid because it's just he hasn't done much, and yeah, we talk about Ndidi played out of position. Decordova-Reid also, and he just hasn't done a thing so far. There hasn't been much, and I mean, luckily it was only a free transfer because there's not much that is really there so far. We'll see if something else changes, but he just hasn't really performed at all so far, and there's a reason why they got him out of the team as fast that quickly.
Sorry, I've just had a thought. I just want to ask you, Tyler, are you the same Tyler on Twitter who slated me for saying about dropping Winks? I'm just trying to remember.
Okay. Yes. 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 I did not see the vision. I also still believe, I still will wholeheartedly say that I don't think that the vision that Cooper has is the same one that you have.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The vision I had was, it was different.
The why is very different. But no, I mean, over the games since then, I had kind of started to feel a similar way about it. I had started to feel a similar way about the whole Winks thing. I just think that his skill set is a luxury with how we play right now, and that sucks. But now I think it kind of is just that way. I mean, things change. I mean, I said that it was ridiculous the way that Enzo was using Wilfred Ndidi last year, and then he showed he has incredible tactical intelligence. And I'm willing to say when I think something's wrong. When I think that I'm wrong, I'm willing to be wrong a lot. I mean, I still haven't actually. I mean, like, I genuinely didn't really get into the sport until like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
I really, I mean, I've watched a lot, I follow a lot. I mean, being honest, hockey is still my favorite, is still my first love. So,
Oh, here we
but-
go. Here we go. Here we go.
but regardless, I've watched every game the last at least 3 years, even more moving in the past. But yeah, no. So I'm willing to say when I'm wrong because things change.
Well, amazingly tonight, you were the last caller, so thank you, Tyler, for clicking in. But amazingly, no one even wanted to speak about Cooper. So I want literally one word from you, Tyler. That's all I want. One word, in or out. One word, in or out.
Mm.
If you had to choose right now, wait. Is that what you said? Wait.
I am in for the next 6 weeks or next 4 weeks. If we're talking about being like under 10 points after we finish our game against Ipswich, then or whatever we have our next 4 matches. If we're past Manchester United, if we're past the Man United game and we're under 10 points, then we can probably make a change. But I think you got to give them at least 10 minimum before you can actually decide that.
It's only 3 away. So
We got 3 more. No. I mean,
I
there's
know.
a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And there's some that I was like, okay, I'm seeing it right away. There's issues and they aren't being fixed. But truth is, he came to us when many others didn't.
That's the argument I always hear, mate. Yeah, that's the argument I always hear. I get it. I get that side of it, of course. Right, Tyler, thanks for clicking in, mate. Much appreciated. Like I said, I will let you all know when the next one is, so hopefully we can speak to you on the next one, mate. All right?
Absolutely.
Cheers, Tyler. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Thank you to all of the guests who clicked in, all of the callers, and anyone who didn't do it and does fancy it. Next time, please do so, because it's this show is all about getting as many different views from as many different people as possible. Let's make this a thing, Anil. Caller of the day. They were all great, but caller of the day. Who did you enjoy hearing from the most?
I'm sentimental, so I've got to go for Tom. He's the first one. I think it was good to talk about the transfers because we could have started straight off with Cooper out. So I think it was good to set the tone. He was the first. That's no shade on any of them. There were some really good points. Actually, very interesting. We didn't really talk about the same topic twice, so I like that. But for me, it's got to be Tom.
Yeah, and if I just pull a couple names, LCFC fan, thank you so much to you, by the way, for always commenting and jumping in tonight. Much appreciated. I can't see any of the others in the chat. Zach, of course. Tom, of course. Chappie bottled it. No, I'm joking. He's got his kids to look after. And Tyler as well. Anil, mate, thanks for joining me as always.
Welcome.
Me and Anil, of course, will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. for Fox's Den, which is going to be a mini season review so far type thing. Lots to talk about. We'll have Josh and Ash on with us tomorrow, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I mean, I'm back from Turkey, so loads of content coming out, just like it was before last week. So thanks to everyone who's been watching, and if you can all hit the like button, hit subscribe, that's much appreciated. And thanks, Anil, again. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Welcome back, Locks, and thank everyone. Bye bye.
Lovely stuff. See you in a bit, guys. Bye bye.